Okay, this video is for um, people who are just considering homeschooling or people who have been homeschooling for a while and think that maybe it's time to change the approach. You've got different parents, personalities and temperaments, same with kids. So sometimes it's kind of a challenge to um,
Hi.
figure out what
Hi.
things work and what things don't. So this is on different types of homeschooling approaches. The first one should be the last, but it is eclectic. It is the idea that you kind of mix and match what works, maybe different circumstances. The next one is in the public school systems. About 1920s or so, the progressives philosophy started really taking over, and they started adding things to the public school system. Things like multiple choice, true or false, fill in the blank, work on worksheets, um, workbooks, all that type stuff. Pros and cons to everything, but a lot of that just came in about that time. So this category would be the textbooks, the workbooks, the prepackaged, comes in a box. It may or may not mimic the public school system materials, and just exchange the public school setting for the home setting, but it's curriculum in a box. It might work for one class or maybe your whole school system, depending on the choices that you make. I know that I had bought at one point a math in a box curriculum, and we didn't really use it. I was kind of hoping that some people in our community would help out with some of it. That fell through, and basically the things that came in the box wound up being educational toys. They were kind of still used, but it was one of those deals where you get your child a present and they're more thrilled with ways to use the box than they are with the present that came in the inside. That's pretty much what happened with our math in a box experience. Living freeform. This utilizes real-life activities and experiences combined with child-centered internal timing, desires, and curiosities. It's very child-centered, child learning type thing.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
Let's see. Another thing is a unit study. A core concept, theme, or topic is used as the center of class studies. I know when my daughter was in preschool years, I had already taught her fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman, be he alive or be he dead. I'll grind his bones to make my bread. I had already taught her that when Jack the Giant Slayer came out at the movie theaters. And it was a lot of fun. Number one, for the two of us to sit there at the movie theaters and watch the movie, put life to the story that I had been verbally telling her. And then at the end of it, they play the song, and we were able to sit there and sing along. It was a fun experience. Around that same time, we'd gone over The Emperor Has No Clothes, and at one point I could see her wheels spinning in her brain, and I could tell she was caught on the tail of a project of some kind. A few minutes later, she comes to show me what she'd been working on. She had taken two plastic grocery bags. She used one of them, used the handles as sleeves, to mimic a tank top, and she used the second plastic bag as a skirt. So here she was, aside from the Walmart Inc. logos on she had her underwear on, and then she had two plastic trash bags or grocery bags on, and she paraded around because she was the empress with no clothes. And I took good pictures of her and whatnot. It was a fun time. But that would be a unit studies examples. Classical, perennial. Um, there are constant core bodies of knowledge that use the trivium, being grammar, then dialectic, then rhetoric stages. I've also heard of instead of a three, it's a set of four. Um, those are things that I don't think we're quite old enough yet. I wanted to spend time on the foundations of her penmanship, reading, and writing skills. Um, so we are getting ready for third grade at this point, and so she will be starting grammar. Um, mhm.
There was a thing on it.
Uh-huh. Anyway, we're gonna start grammar. We are. I don't know about the threes and the fours, but
Okay.
we're gonna be starting there. And the last section that I have listed is the truth principle approach. There are constant core truths that are the starting point for child scripture reading, historic research, reasoning. You haven't even started on grammar, and we'll get there when we get there. Reasoning and application and record keeping. This is the one that speaks to us most, our household most. I might be showing my age, but Steve Covey, the principal approach is very similar to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Trying to live a principle-centered life. I was raised that way. I believe it's very scriptural, and it's character centered. Um, those things are extremely important. Yeah, I get hashtag. Anyway, here is a copy of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Principle centered categories. This is copied right out of the book. Sometimes I review it to keep perspective. Another thing is the principle approach. If you look that up, there is actually a company foundation for American Christian education, I think. Faces. Anyway, they suggest big red books, and for whatever reason, they say, "Oh, well, start with these two, and then go from there." I think the philosophy is really great. Can be a little bit overwhelming, but they don't mention this book. Apparently made by one of the husbands. I don't know why, but I would suggest you start with one book. This book being it. It looks pretty much like the other ones do. Guide to American Christian Education for the Home and School. The Principal Approach. The difference being this is just one book instead of two. And it's by James B. Rose. Okay. It is a Christian book. We are Jews. I don't have too much of a problem with that because being principle centered, living that type of lifestyle is very Judeo-Christian. It speaks to both. Um, Sometimes I might have to um, explain, but in our house, under our circumstances, we talk about Christianity as well as Judaism. We pretty much have to. We've got friends, we've got family, we've got neighbors, we've got, um, we live in America, and it was based on uh, a Judeo-Christian culture, a way of life. Um, we're all sinners, and our ancestors weren't perfect. Some of them made pretty good choices. Others of them didn't. Um, but that's everyone's story, right? I mean, we're all sinners. We're all saints. We do the best we can. Hopefully, more one side than the other. Nations reflect the people that live in it. Our culture reflects our religious beliefs, and our morality reflects those religious beliefs as well. So for us, principle centered um, is very important. So that is different ideas on different approaches that you can use in your school system. And like I said, if you're just starting off, you need to spend some time, pray about it if your family does that. If not, whatever works for you. But congratulations on the decision to consider homeschooling. And there are some different ideas to think about. If you've already been working on it, ready for a change, look into some of those others that maybe you haven't tried yet. Okay, thank you.